interviewing the bestie. So this is my best friend, Malia, and she and I are going to kind of talk about my health since she knew me, obviously, before my pain pump and after my pain pump. And she's been there through a lot with me. She's also my cousin, so not only my best friend, but my cousin. So she's known me since I was a kid. She's known me through all of my surgeries. She's known me before and after pain pump. So I thought it'd be interesting since we were spending the evening together and our kids are in the background, so I'm kind of talking loud, so hopefully we can talk over them. So we could kind of see what her thoughts are, and then I promise you guys my husband, so we'll get him on the video too, I promise. But tonight it's the bestie. So the first question that we're gonna ask is, what was your thoughts when I first told you that I was interested in getting a pain pump?
I would have to say my first thoughts was basically just I hope that it helps, because I know you were very hesitant and you've done a lot of thinking for years.
Yeah.
You had been thinking about it. So I knew that if you were really seriously considering it, then that was something that you really thought you needed.
Yeah. And then so then I forgot my questions. I should have wrote them down. So yeah, which I knew you've always been supportive of everything that I chose to do. Like, even when it came down to another surgery, you were always supportive. There was never a time that you were like, are you sure you want to do that? And that's good to have a best friend or someone in your support team that's just kind of there for you and doesn't really give their opinion as much as they give you just support, because it was my body and no one could really understand what I was going through inside other than me. So it was nice that she was always supportive of me and kind of listened to what I had to say and how I felt about certain things. So you were with me after I had my pain pump implanted. So what was your thoughts immediately after my pain pump when I was really sick?
I guess my biggest thought was, oh God, I hope this works. Because I knew that it was going to be an even bigger issue. If it ended up not working, you had to get it removed, then it was just going to cause more issues, and then that was more pain. And
yeah,
I knew that wasn't going to be good. So I was really hoping and praying that it was going to work, because it was really scaring me that it was not going to when it first happened.
I know. So Malia was the one that took me to the hospital after surgery. And you guys remember I mentioned that I was down from the spinal headache. And when I say I was down, I was really down for a couple of weeks. And so it got to a point where she came and seen me and I was so miserable. I just begged her and I was like, will you please take me to the hospital? I can't take it. So she drove me all the way an hour away to the hospital to go see my doctor. And then when we got there, we still ended up waiting
for a long time.
Because the ER doctor didn't really, like, the people that check you in, they didn't take us seriously when we first got there. Like, they didn't believe how sick I was. And then once we actually got back in the room, they made us wait because they called my doctor in. So, like, they wouldn't let me see just a regular ER doctor. They wanted me to see my actual doctor. So I had to wait again for him to come in. And he was like all dressed up because he was golfing or something.
Yeah, I think he was like going to an event or
he was
something.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So then we had to wait forever for him to get there. And then when he got there, he was just like, well, I'm just going to give you some medicine and send you home. And I was like, please just help me. So that was unfortunate, but it got better finally. It was a trial, and like I've told you guys too, that I was even at a point where I was like, oh crap, did I just screw up and make this decision, even as long as it took me to decide to do it, because I felt so miserable after it was done. So what was my other question I was gonna ask? Oh, the difference between before pump and after pump. Do you see a difference?
I do see a difference. I think that, unfortunately, after the pain pump and once you started feeling better, then the world went to shit. But
true story.
But so we haven't seen each other much, but just your whole attitude towards just being able to do stuff has changed.
Yeah.
Like you just feel more like you before everything, because you have more energy, you're more willing and able to go do things because you're not in so much pain. And I think it's just made you feel like you're not so down on yourself as being not able to do things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And so that you're just happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And that was something even my husband said too, was like, and like there's been times, and I think I've said this on a previous video, that he'll be like, I'll catch him looking at me and he's just like I could never see you doing this before. Like I'm running around the house playing with the kids, or I'm cheer coach now, and doing cartwheels and things that I never would have done beforehand. So it's just,
I won't do a cartwheel now. So.
but, yeah, but it's just things like that I wouldn't have been able to do again if it wasn't for my pain pump. So, and like I've mentioned this before on previous videos as well, like I think that it's something that Medtronic, whether it's Medtronic or pain doctors or whoever needs to be an advocate for the pain pump, like it definitely needs discussed more, because it wasn't on my radar until 2 years ago, when my GI sent me to the big university hospital to talk to this doctor who specifically does this pain implantation. Like that's what he does. You know, it wasn't something that I'd even heard of. You know, they said pain pump, and I thought they were talking about like the back stimulators. Have you heard of those before?
Yes.
Yeah. And I've known a few people like Rick's cousin Scott. You met Scott?
I think my cousin Andy even had it at one point in time. I could be wrong about that, but
so when I heard that, I was like, no, I've heard about those before. They don't work. And why would I get a back stimulator?
I think that's
not my pain.
You were so against it at first for a very long time.
Yeah,
I remember a long time ago.
Because I just thought it was a joke that they were trying to mess with me. And then when I realized that it was actually medication that they were wanting to put inside me, then it was a whole new questions, like, because then you have to worry about, am I going to overdose? Is it something that
it's going to affect your driving, your ability to take care of the kids? Right.
Like, you have so much things you have to question and know, is this the right decision? Like, am I making, and this is, I talked about it on my misconceptions of having a pain pump. You know, those were the misconceptions that I had. I thought that, oh my God, if I'm getting pain medicine pumped through me 24/7, then I'm going to be messed up on pain medicine. And it's not like that at all. I have more cognitive ability, and I'm less foggy, and I'm wittier, and I'm spunkier, and things are just better since I've had my pump. So that's one aspect of it. And
I feel like it's made you feel like you got your life back.
It has, yeah.
That's like the outlook on life that I see from my perspective.
Yeah,
is that you feel like I got my life back, and now it's time to enjoy it.
Yeah, and like my husband and I, and I've talked on YouTube about this too, about, you know, sexual relations and how it was really difficult, and it's still difficult to some extent. It's getting better, but how sexual relations was difficult before the pump, and it's starting to get easier, but it's still something we're trialing through, and that's you know, that made our marriage, like, we struggled. I mean, not just for that reason. There was multiple reasons,
but it is hard to be.
Yeah, if you have a spouse that is sick all the time, and you go to work, you come home, and that spouse is laying down and can't help with cooking or laundry, and I mean, that's how it was. Literally, I would go to work, I'd come home, and I'd lay down. The kids would want to do something, my husband would want to do something, and I was useless. I couldn't do anything. So
spoons were spent.
My spoons were spent, and it was every day, all day. I was useless. People would invite me out, I wouldn't go. I couldn't do it. I would spend the weekends recuperating from my Monday through Friday because I was at work. So things like that have definitely changed for the better. And now I feel like, because it's changed so much, like I feel like I owe it to the people in my life that were stuck. I don't want to say stuck, but stood by my side in that aspect, in that way. And so now all the time, I'm like, last night I was telling my husband, like, I want to go. I want to do, like, you want to come home and take a nap because you're tired and you're getting old, like, that's fine. I'm ready to go. I want to go. And I think that's because now, like, I just turned 30, and I think it's just, I feel good. Like, I wasted 10 years that I didn't feel good, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do the things that most people could do. So now I just want to be.
She's celebrating her 20s and her 30s now.
Yeah. That's it. That's how I want to do it. So, yeah, things like that. So, is there any other opinion that you have as far as a friend, a supporter, someone that's been there for me through everything that I've been through, that you could give as advice to other people's supporters or friends?
I think probably the biggest support is just basically listening and just try to be understanding. Like,
Yeah.
I know I can only imagine so far what it's like. I tend to try to empathize with people a lot. And so I'm like, man, that would really, like, if I was in her shoes and I was feeling that way, I would feel the same way. And so I'm just like, yeah, I understand, because I know how I would react in those same kind of situations. And so I just would listen. And if she'd ask my opinion, I don't know a whole lot, but I just give her from what I know from what she told me, my opinion. And it usually is, yeah, if you think that's the best way to go about it, then that's the best way to go about it. Because only you know what you can handle and how your body's feeling and stuff like that. Like,
yeah. There was many of times I can remember that I would call her and just be like, this is what's, like, I've felt like this for this long, or this doctor said this, and this doctor said this, and now I'm at this dead end, and I don't know what to do, and whether she had advice for me or not, she always listened. And then even if she didn't have an answer, she would kind of reiterate what I was saying back to myself to kind of make sure I knew what I was saying, I think. Is that what? Yeah, because I think sometimes when you're so emotional and so raw, when you're going through so much pain or health scare, things like that, sometimes you have to have someone to kind of be a sounding board and be like, okay, now are you understanding that is what the doctor said, and that's what the doctor meant? Like, are you hearing it the same way? So, sorry, the kids just made a noise. We were both like,
they're in the hot tub, so we have to make sure they're okay.
So, yeah, so I think that's a fairly important thing.
Yeah, I mean, and when you're in a situation and you're like trying to choose between different scenarios and stuff, sometimes it helps to have somebody that's like you keep going back and forth in your mind, and you're like, okay, but this, okay, but that. But sometimes someone else listening might be able to pick out what you want from what you're saying, and you won't even know it. So if they're bouncing that idea off of you, then you might be able to help them, like, be like, it really sounds like you're leaning this way more than this way because of these reasons versus this reason. And sometimes that helps them figure things out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. Maybe they're just stuck in the middle and don't know. But sometimes it kind of helps them to reach it. And then, maybe you have a different perspective on something, the way somebody meant something, like the doctor meant something, and you're like, well, maybe I would have understood it this way, and then, or something like that. And that can sometimes help too. But I try to not give my opinion so much as just listen, but sometimes your opinion can help change the idea of something or not. I don't know.
I can't ever recall a single time that I felt like you forced your opinion on me. It was always you. And by forcing an opinion, I mean like saying like, well, if you did this, it could mean that, or that, you were always just supportive. And I don't know, I love you. I love you too. She's a really good friend and family member, and I hope that I could have be there in at least half the ways that she's been there for me over the years, because
I think you are. So
because it's when you go through, and most of my followers have chronic health conditions or are currently going through something or are taking care of someone that has chronic health condition. So I think it's important to have somebody to talk to that can support you or be there for you when you need it. And yeah, so yeah, this was our bestie video, and if you have any questions for Malia that you would want to ask her, please don't hesitate to leave the comments below, and we'll answer them together. Or she can answer it and I'll write it out for her, or she can reply herself if she feels like replying in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to my video, because you guys know I've been posting more frequently. Things are getting a little bit less hectic in my life, so I can actually post and sit here and talk to you guys. There goes my dog in the background. Let me know what else you guys want to know. I still have the promise video of my husband. I'll get that out to you guys. And I think that's it.
all right.
All right. Bye. Stay healthy, Spoonies.
Bye.